Woodworkers are familiar with the Kitchener stitch, which is a method that produces a seamless join, and it's useful in items such as hand knit sock toes. But today I want to introduce you to the Finchley Graft, Kitchener's less complicated cousin. It produces the same seamless effect, but it can be completed in half as many steps. Let's get started. I've worked this sock to the point that I'm ready to graft the toe. So you leave it on the needles as knit and cut a length of yarn about a foot or so. You're going to use a tapestry needle for this as well. Thread that on. Okay, now where this differs from some other sock methods that you might be used to is that you're going to work this from the inside out. So the easiest way to turn the sock that I've found is just to move the stitches onto the corded part of your needles and flip through. Don't try to put your needles through the project, flip the project through to the other side of the needles. Depending on how big your opening is, this might be a little bit tricky, but just keep working. Okay, so I've got that through. You're going to want to move the yarn to the right side of your project so that the yarn is at the front facing you. And then just slide the needles back through so that they're onto the stitches. Like so. Okay. Now, there's basically only two steps to the Finchley. You're going to go through from the front to the back, and then you're coming back through from the back to the front. And when you go through the front, you're going to go through the stitches knitwise. So for the setup row, the first thing you do is you put the needle, we're going from the front through to the back knitwise. The needle goes through the first stitch knitwise on the front needle, first stitch on the second needle knitwise, pull the thread all the way through, pull it a little snug, and then you can just remove the back stitch right off the needle. Okay, now you're coming back through to the front needle and you're going to come through purlwise. On the back needle, and on the front needle, all the way through, and then you're going to remove the first stitch on the first needle. And that's your two steps. Now we're going to keep going. So we'll go through again on the first needle, closest to you knitwise, needle at the back knitwise, all the way through, and then you're going to pull that knit stitch off at the back. Moving back through to the front, we start at the back, purlwise, front stitch, purlwise, pull that all the way through, and remove that front stitch. And you just keep going. So basically, once you've passed through a stitch 2 times, front to back, or knitwise and purlwise, that's the stitch that's going to come off. Once I get going on this, I will generally remove the stitch that's to be pulled off at the same time as passing the yarn through. So I'll show you that. So going through knitwise, knitwise, so the stitch on the back is coming off. Just pull that off like that. Tug that through. Purlwise, purlwise. That's the stitch that's coming off, so I'll remove that one. All the way through. basically you just keep doing these 2 movements, front to back, remove the back stitch, pull through, back, front, remove front stitch, pull through. You want to make sure that you're just keeping a comfortable tension on the stitches, not too tight. You don't want the stitch line to show when you're finished. So I'm going to keep just working on this, and I'll meet you back here when I'm at the final stitches. So I'm coming up on the final stitches. Remove that one. Coming from the back, purlwise to the front. Remove that one. And then when you go back through for your final pass, knitwise, the front, back, you can just remove both of them. And that's all there is to it. Then you're going to have one end to weave in. So we can just check again from the front and make sure that the tension is good all the way across. Just snug that out a little bit, and you can see it ends up looking just like a regular Kitchener stitch, as if the stitch has gone all the way across uninterrupted. Now, the one thing I did want to point out is the difference on how it finishes on the inside from the Kitchener. So on the outside, it looks very much the same. I've got 2 of them here already finished. So the blue is a Kitchener, and the green is the Finchley. Looks very much the same. But when you look to the inside, the one thing that you will notice on the Finchley is that there is a little raised row of garter. And on the Kitchener, when I flip the blue one in, you see it's smooth all the way across. Now, I don't find at all that that tiny little row of raised garter is a problem in a sock. I don't feel it when I wear the sock, but it just seems a little quicker and easier, and it is just basically 2 stitches, front to back, back to front. The Finchley Graft is a great tool to add to your knitting skill set, and I hope you enjoy using it as much as I do. Subscribe to this channel to be alerted to new tutorials as I upload them. Thanks for watching.